Hello everyone, welcome to another Let's Play of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. My name is Anna Mardell. We are about to start the second part of the case 1 for game 3. It's interesting that for the tutorial we're actually doing a flashback with seeing Mina as an attorney, because we haven't actually really had a chance to see Mia in action much, so I do like that. And while I do feel like the retcon in progress is kind of making a hash of a lot of Phoenix's character and backstory, it is interesting to get to see him on the witness stand and being, in a position of vulnerability and fear, being scared for what's going to happen. So it's neat to see Phoenix before he, was a big grown-up graduated lawyer. And he's obviously very adorable. The story thus far is that Phoenix is dating a girl. And since she is a girl in the Phoenix Wright universe, there is not a whole lot of character options for her. This one has gone with the alluring evil option. And it would appear, although we haven't really gotten that far yet, but it would appear that perhaps this girl was maybe murdered someone, and Mia believes that this case will blow open a mystery from 8 months ago. And perhaps she's using Phoenix as some kind of, not Mia, but the girl Dahlia is perhaps using Phoenix as some kind of patsy for holding incriminating evidence. Not totally clear. You would think that Mia would disclose this information directly both to her client and to the police, but that is not how we do things here in this fun lawyer game. It's all got to be done in the courtroom, which is part of obviously the conceit of the game, even if it doesn't always make sense. So here we are, going back into court after a 20-minute recess.
Court will now reconvene. Mr. Payne, please call your witness.
The next person is someone who witnessed the crime as it happened. It's kind of weird to be bringing this up so late in the case. I really would have expected to call the witness first before we called the defendant, but of course they wanted us to see Phoenix Wright on the stand. And I did notice, and I think it's cute, that a lot of his mannerisms, like standing up very straight and lifting his chin, reminded me a lot of Mackie Beard from the second case. So that was cute, because they do have a lot in common.
The prosecution calls Miss Dahlia Hawthorne to the stand.
And there she is, looking beautiful with butterflies and a translucent wrap and a parasol, and her eyes are bigger than teacups. What's with this stiff silence?
In my long career as a judge, I have been deceived by many witnesses. It's my job to doubt, to take no one at their word. But in your case, I must admit that you radiate a glow of complete sincerity.
Oh, grand. So we're just gonna ramp up the innocent temptress trope here. I can't believe he actually said that.
Oh, now then, witness, could you please state your full name?
Don't worry, sweetie. There's no need to be nervous.
If anyone says anything rude, you can be sure I'll cut them right down to size.
And I will bash them with my gavel.
I love how they look straight at me when they say that.
Thank you for calming my nerves. You are all so nice. I almost feel right at home.
Not not at all.
It was nothing.
If we may move on, what is your full name and occupation? My name is Dahlia Hawthorne. I'm a junior in literature at Ivy University. I just want to say it's an honor for me to be here in your noble presence. The honor is all mine.
No, the honor is all mine.
Well, we know whose milkshake brings all the boys to the yard. Sir? Is there something I can help you with?
You just go on and say whatever's on your mind.
I'm sure there must be some kind of mistake. Feeny wouldn't kill anyone. I just know it.
Yes, I can see why you'd say that.
She's going to be a tough witness, all right. It only took her 12 seconds to wrap them all around her little finger.
Now then, please proceed with your testimony. Let's hear about what you witnessed on the day of the incident, if you please. Here we go.
I had been planning to go back to Feeny's place after class was over. Feeny and Dougie, they were talking behind the building. Then suddenly, Dougie just got all wobbly and collapsed. That's when Feeny noticed that I was there. I went to go and find some other students, and they called the authorities.
I don't know what to say. According to you, Miss Hawthorne, the defendant didn't do anything wrong.
Young lady, as old as I am, even I recall how hot the flames of young passion can burn. Nevertheless, it is my job to discover the truth. Please tell us the truth. But I would never. That's more than enough, witness. I won't allow this to continue.
What do you mean by that?
Please, just let me proceed with my cross-examination, Your Honor. I, for one, don't plan to win my case on a bunch of paper-thin lies. You haven't changed a bit, Mia Fey.
Sorry, do I know you?
What's this? You two are acquainted? Yes, we've met before. Once.
In any case, Miss Fey, the floor is all yours.
It's good to see you again, Madame Fey. Madam? I'm no one's grandma yet, girlie. Here we go. I had been planning to go back to Feeny's place after class was over. Now, unless I'm mistaken, Mr. Wright, is in the art department. If that's the case, what were you doing by the pharmacology building? Well, I'm in the literature department. I'm studying Japanese senryu poetry.
Oh, how wonderful! It's that humorous yet satirical style of haiku, yes?
Nothing left to do. When a man reaches this age, sleep is his best friend.
It's supposed to be poetry? It sounds more like a midlife crisis.
For me to get to the art department, I have to walk through the back area.
Oh, yes, I see. That makes sense. When I went to enter the courthouse, I always walked through the front doors.
How else would you enter? Teleportation?
Feeny and Dougie were talking behind the building.
Who is this Dougie person?
Oh, I'm sorry. Doug Swallow. We were dating until about 8 months ago.
What were Dougie, Mr. Swallow, and Mr. Wright talking about anyway?
How can you be so mean? I would never eavesdrop. I wasn't raised to be so rude and unrefined.
That's right, Miss Fey.
Don't drag the witness down to your level.
Why am I being demonized here?
Please go on. What did you see next?
Then suddenly, Dougie got wobbly and just collapsed.
Are you saying that the victim collapsed on his own?
Yes.
In other words, the defendant never touched the victim. Is that right?
I was watching the whole time. Feeny never did a thing to Ducky.
If I press her for no good reason, I know the judge will get angry with me. What should I do about her testimony just now? Well, we have his fingerprints on the jacket, so... Feeble lies are not very becoming, Miss Hawthorne, so let's drop them, shall we?
What? I would never.
Ms. Fay, I will not allow you to badger this witness. I believe the defense is engaged in a fishing expedition. That is, she has no supporting... Please don't glare at me like that. I'm just doing my job. Now then, Miss Hawthorne. The defendant's palm print was found on Mr. Swallow's leather jacket. It has already been shown that Mr. Wright did in fact push the victim.
What?
There's no need to try to cover for the defendant. It would be much better if you came out and told us the whole truth.
There's nothing to worry about, young lady. Just tell us everything you saw.
Yes, Your Honor. I will. If you don't mind, I'd like to revise my testimony.
Looks like we're finally getting somewhere.
Actually, I didn't see the moment he pushed Ducky. It didn't look like they were fighting, and I didn't hear anything unusual either.
Loud sound. Can we press on it first? So then, what did it look like they were doing to you?
I thought they were having a nice, friendly afternoon conversation.
Oh, give me a break.
That's why I really wasn't watching them all that closely.
Did you notice anything out of the ordinary at all?
No, nothing at all, Mr. Judge.
Oh, I like the sound of that. Mr. Judge. Now then, please proceed with your testimony.
Okay. So we're gonna present this testimony that there was a loud noise.
You say you didn't hear anything unusual. Is that correct?
Yes, that's why I was very relaxed, looking at the scenery around me.
I like her little hair flip.
That's nice. But I find that just a little odd. I have here the testimony of your boyfriend, Mr. Phoenix Wright. He clearly testified to the effect that when he pushed the victim, he heard a sharp, loud noise.
He said that?
If you were really that close to the two of them, why didn't you hear this noise as well?
She's got different music from Phoenix. I like it.
Well, maybe the noise just wasn't all that memorable.
But according to Mr. Wright's testimony, it was a sharp noise like a snap. There's no way a noise like that could fail to make an impression.
May I have a moment to answer?
By all means.
I know the reason why I didn't hear the noise.
I like her music too. It reminds me of Irana's piece from Hero's Quest. Not because it's similar, but just the calmingness.
look and see if you can get her theme somewhere. How would you even look it up? Dahlia's theme? Phoenix, right? Distant Traces of Beauty. It's on YouTube, if nothing else. Like, I find this very calming. I like it.
You see, the truth is, I had my headphones on, and I was listening to music at the time.
Headphones? You mean that both of your ears were covered?
The rain was just beginning to let up, but it seemed as though Thor wasn't ready for his fun to come to an end yet. So the sky continued to flash and rumble.
Thunder and lightning, huh?
I'm afraid of the sound of thunder, so I put my headphones on to block it out.
Well, Your Honor, as you can see, there weren't any contradictions in her testimony after all.
Wait a sec, Mia! That testimony just now! She said something that could totally change this whole case! The lightning. Your Honor, there is a problem with the witness's testimony! What do you mean? Didn't you notice? She said there was lightning, correct? Yes, what about it? Lightning is actually a large discharge of electricity in the atmosphere. Now's not the time for a science lesson, Miss Faye. Yes, Your Honor. But since the cause of death was electrocution, isn't it possible the victim died from being hit by a bolt of lightning? Oh! Why does Dahlia look so upset? Does she want Phoenix to go to jail?
I must admit that the thought had not occurred to me.
Just what kind of thoughts do occur to this guy anyway? This entire case is built on the premise that Mr. Doug Swallow was murdered, but that very premise itself is mistaken. The defense believes Mr. Swallow was, in fact, the victim of a stray bolt!
It appears the defense may be onto something. Could it be that the death was actually accidental?
All right, you did it, Mia! I'll be taking that not guilty now if you don't...
I'm hurt that you have such a low opinion of me, Miss Faye.
Huh?
I'm not a fool, you know. The prosecution has done its research, Your Honor. We found there were no lightning strikes on that day at that location.
So... does that mean your client or your witness is a liar? Well, no, I guess you can have lightning in the sky without lightning strikes on the ground.
What? What's more, we have evidence that the electrical cable is definitely linked to this case.
The one I had to point out for you?
Evidence, Mr. Payne? What is this evidence?
This affidavit.
And who is this affidavit from?
The pharmacology students who were conducting experiments in their labs that day. Allow me to read to the court the testimony of the pharmacology students. All equipment in the labs lost power all of a sudden around 3 p.m. that day.
Was it a blackout?
All of the lab's equipment runs on high voltage, Your Honor.
So you're saying the equipment lost power because...
Precisely. They lost power because of the severed electrical cable. The power outage occurred at approximately 3 p.m.
They keep saying approximately 3 p.m. But that's a little after 3.
which fits the time of death listed in the autopsy report.
Exactly. In other words, the victim died as a result of touching the severed electrical cable. According to the students, the cables were very old. They were planning on having them replaced in the near future.
And now they can. Everyone's happy.
I see.
Apparently, the cables had become so brittle that even the smallest bump could cause them to break.
So, possibly this is a negligence case and not murder? Some kind of bump.
However, there is one thing that troubles me. If the cable could have been broken by any small bump, then it wouldn't have snapped if it hadn't been bumped into, correct?
Or a bird landed on it.
Well, I suppose you could say that.
Miss Faye, do you have any thoughts regarding the cause of the severed cable?
Your Honor. I don't like how this is looking one bit. I have to come up with something to try to regain momentum. If it pleases the court, the defense would like to state its opinion.
Well then, let's hear it. Who or what was it that caused the cable to break?
I mean, the only thing I can think is that Phoenix shoved him into it? But that seems like a bad thing to say since that would be like admitting he's guilty? The power outage was at 2:55. The death was at 3. That looks like 3:05 or something. It's certainly not 2:55. Unless I'm completely reading it wrong, and I don't think I am. So the only thing I can think is Phoenix shoved him into the telephone pole or the electric pole, and it snapped the cable, but it didn't kill him? Something else killed him? I don't know. Somebody else pushed him into... I'm gonna save just in case. I can't save shit. Okay, the only thing I can think is to say Phoenix shoved him, but that feels wrong because that's my own client. Your Honor, please think back to Mr. Wright's testimony.
The defendant's testimony.
He said after he pushed the victim, he heard a loud, sharp noise. This happened at around 3 p.m., correct?
Yes, that sounds right. Wait, are you saying?
The lab equipment lost power at 2:55, which fits right into Mr. Wright's timeline. In other words, it was Mr. Wright's shove that caused the power outage.
Yes, the prosecution also came to that same conclusion. And it was that very shove that caused Mr. Swallow to be electrocuted.
I'm afraid I can't agree with you there, Mr. Payne.
What's that supposed to mean?
Take a good look at where the victim landed after being shoved. See the umbrella? It's by the electrical pole. That's right. The victim banged into that pole as a result of being pushed. It was the impact that caused the cable to break.
Well, that makes sense. And then the victim was electrocuted.
Hair flip. I'm sorry, Your Honor, but no, it doesn't make sense at all. If the victim was shoved into the far pole, then he couldn't have been electrocuted by the severed cable in the foreground here. In other words, someone other than my client must have electrocuted the victim.
Order in the court.
Ah, the lamentations of my enemy. How I've longed to hear them.
It's true. The defense is absolutely correct. There doesn't seem to be any way the defendant could have done it.
Mr. Judge, sir, may I say something? The Madame Attorney's explanation. She said some things that are a little different than I remember them.
What?
What the? Please, just once more. May I please testify one last time? Please, Mr. Judge.
Of course it's all right. Just go ahead and give your new testimony.
This is it. She's finally starting to show her true colors. Her little sparkly eyes full of tears. The truth is, Feeney pushed him twice. The first time was into the electrical pole. That's when the cable broke. Then Dougie tried his best to run away from him, but Feeney caught up and crashed into him from behind. The cable snapping and Dougie being electrocuted. It all occurred in less than a minute.
Well, the watch is a lie. It shows us that's a lie.
After being shoved, the victim got up and tried to run away.
And that is when the defendant pushed him for the second time.
I'm so sorry, Feeney, but I have to tell the truth. Am I doing the right thing? Am I, Mr. Judge?
Of course you are, my dear. As painful as it may seem, you are. Now then, Miss Fay, you may proceed with cross-examination.
Miss Hawthorne, previously in your testimony, you said the following. Actually, I didn't see the moment he pushed Dougie.
I know. I'm sorry. I wanted to protect Feeney.
So that's why you basically lied to the court?
I was a bad girl. I know. Mr. Judge,
Yes?
would you please forgive little old me?
Of course he won't. What you did is called perjury.
Oh, come now, it was just a little white lie. We'll forget it this time, but please be more careful from now on, all right?
Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Judge.
Not at all.
The judge had better be more careful himself. A dark alley is friendlier than that girl.
Ah, we got an achievement.
The first time was into the electrical pole. That's when the cable broke.
You're saying you actually saw the victim get pushed into the electrical pole.
I know he doesn't look it, but Beanie can be a bit of an imp when he wants to be.
Oh, really?
But I never imagined he would cause an electrical cable to break. Beanie really is scary when he gets mad.
Yes, he sounds like a very dangerous individual indeed.
Then Ducky tried his best to run away from him.
Let me get this straight. You were happily listening to music on your headphones while you watched this scene unfold?
Miss Faye, I'll have to ask you to stop badgering the witness.
I wasn't happy. I was so scared I couldn't even move. All I could do was stand there and cheer them on.
Cheer them on? What do you mean?
Well, I wished the best for them both, and that they would each give the fight their all.
That's so sweet of you and so supportive.
What happened after that?
Beanie caught up and crashed into him from behind.
That doesn't sound quite right. There were handprints found on the chest of the victim's leather jacket. Mr. Payne, were there prints found on the back of his jacket?
Well, no, there weren't.
Madam Faye, may I suggest that you listen a little more closely? I said that he crashed into him from behind, right? My Beanie wouldn't leave any prints behind in that case, would he?
Did you actually witness the moment the victim was electrocuted?
I'm sorry, I didn't actually see it. I turned my eyes away.
That's understandable.
Yes, indeed, it would have been a horrific sight for anyone to behold.
If I don't figure out the contradiction here, it's all over. She didn't have much time to come up with her lies, so this is my best chance. There must be a hole somewhere. Okay. That's enough, witness.
I'm afraid I don't understand.
You will in a minute. Could you please take a look at this picture?
Oh, that medicine. That's the one Feeny likes to take for his cold.
It's not the medicine I want you to look at. It's the wristwatch. It stopped at the precise time the victim was electrocuted. In other words, 3:05 p.m.
Yes, and your point is, Miss Faye?
My point is this. What time was it when the lab suffered the power outage due to the cable snapping?
Well, according to the student's testimony, the answer is clear. It was 2:55 p.m. Ah!
Would you care to explain to the court, Miss Dahlia Hawthorne? What exactly happened during this 10-minute interval? The defense proposes that it was during this interval that the real murderer killed Mr. Doug Swallow.
Order in the court!
This is nonsense! The real murderer?
Even you can't deny that the time between the cable breaking and the electrocution are completely unaccounted for.
Then who was it? Who else are you saying could have done it?
Hair flip. There's only one person who could have murdered Mr. Swallow. Only after my client had left the scene was there a window of opportunity for the real killer.
Miss Faye, is the defense ready to indict someone as this real killer?
It's finally time. This is the moment I've been waiting for. Yes, Your Honor. We are ready.
Very well, but remember, if you accuse the wrong person, you will be penalized. Think very carefully before you speak, Miss Faye. Now then, let's have it. Who is the real killer?
I mean, there's only one person, so... It could only have been you, Dahlia Hawthorne.
How could you?
The defense is grasping at straws.
10 minutes passed between the time the cable broke and the time of electrocution. What exactly were you doing that whole time, Miss Hawthorne? Were you really listening to music while cheering them both on as they fought? I find it hard to believe you didn't lift a finger to stop the men dearest to you.
Order! Miss Faye! I mean, why? That is to say...
Miss Hawthorne, I believe you did witness the two men fighting on that day. However, after Mr. Wright pushed the victim and subsequently left the scene, it was you who pushed Mr. Swallow to his death by your very own hands.
Ah! The wind gets her.
How can you say something so mean, Madame Fay? I didn't do anything.
Miss Fay, this is a very serious charge. Oh, Your Honor! Please, I have something I want to say! You? What is it? Please strike everything the defense said just now from the record! What the? Are you daft? You're totally wrong, Miss Fay. Dolly, she couldn't do something like that! Oh, baby. Mr. Wright, get back in your seat! Bailiff, grab that man! Leave my Dolly alone! Baby. The sweet boy. That boy. He's gotten himself in way over his head. Oh, Mr. Crossberg, you're back! It seems I've arrived just in the nick of time. I found the police report on that incident in your newspaper clipping.
Thank you so much. This is what I was hoping for. What do we got here? District Courthouse Cafeteria. Diego Armando, lawyer, suspect Dahlia Hawthorne. Armando ingested poison while interviewing the subject regarding another case. Traces of poison were found in the victim's coffee cup. No poison was found in the vicinity or on the subject's person. It is unclear how poison entered the victim's coffee cup. Interesting. You'd better take a good look at it. It details how you came to lose your boyfriend. Oh, God. Oh, God. Does she know Dahlia is the killer? I mean, she's a spirit medium. Now then, the defense has made a very serious accusation. Mr. Payne, what do you have to say about this?
Well, really, Your Honor. That is,
May I interrupt you for just a moment, Mr. Prosecutor?
Don't you worry, my dear. I have this situation well in hand. That is, go right ahead.
Madame Fay, are you seriously accusing me of killing my sweet ducky?
Yes, I am. Not only am I saying you murdered Doug Swallow, but you also tried to pin the whole thing on your current lover, Phoenix Wright.
I told you you should let me handle this. Sorry, please go ahead.
How can you say that? I'm absolutely devoted to my dear Feeny. The notion that I would try to frame him is ludicrous. This is all just too much for poor little me to bear.
I believe the girl is trying to ask what on earth her motive would be.
The answer to that lies somewhere in this police report. 8 months ago, an incident occurred in the basement cafeteria of this building. And then, that same day, the two of them accidentally meet. Your Honor, the defense requests further testimony from Miss Dahlia Hawthorne.
Further testimony? What about?
About the events of the day when she first met the defendant, Mr. Phoenix Wright.
What could that possibly have to do with this case?
The witness claims she has no reason to frame the defendant. Am I correct? Well, I have evidence that suggests that she, in fact, had a very good reason.
Very well, the court grants the defense's request. Young lady, would you mind staying on for just a bit longer?
Of course not, Mr. Judge.
Get ready for the battle of your life, Dahlia Hawthorne.
I first met my darling Feeny 8 months ago. It's like we were destined to meet in this very courthouse's basement reading room.
I like that his laughing animation with his hand behind his head is what we've seen before in court.
The moment our eyes met, my heart skipped a beat. We'd been going out ever since that fateful day. We're so lovey-wovey.
Oh, Phoenix, we're so lovey-wovey, we literally make people sick. It's just jealousy, I think. Mr. Wright, do that again and you will be held in contempt of court.
And now we enter the final act of our little drama.
As we used to say in the days of my youth, go get her!
So until that time, you had been dating Doug Swallow?
Yes, I'm a real fool, I know. Letting my emotions change so quickly. I'm ashamed of myself.
No, not at all. Look at me, I'm infamous for changing my mind. My critics have even taken to calling me Judge Fickle. Ho ho ho.
Oh my god. Is that what we call him, Judge Fickle? Maybe you should look for a different line of work.
Despite that, however, he always hands down the correct verdict.
No! That's not how this works! You don't even... You have no way of knowing that! Okay, let me think. She... Poison. She must have gotten the poison from Doug.
That's why some people also call him the Great Judgini.
It's like we were destined to meet in this very courthouse's basement reading room.
The courthouse's reading room. That's a strange place to meet the love of your life.
That's not true, Madame Faye. After all, Feeny was not only an art student, but he was also planning on becoming a lawyer.
It's an interesting double major, you gotta admit.
I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about you, Miss Hawthorne. What was a literature student like you doing in the courthouse reading room?
This line of questioning is a waste of time. It has nothing to do with our murder case.
So if she poisoned the guy asking her questions, what did she do? Run out and run to the library and find a patsy real fast? That's incredibly quick.
Miss Fey, I'm warning you. If this has nothing to do with Mr. Swallow's case,
I have to remember the judge is on Dahlia's side. I'd better tread carefully. I mean, the only other thing she said was that her heart skipped and it's a fateful day, so I think this is where we have to do it. Your Honor, if you'll allow me some latitude, I think I can establish relevance. Please ask her to continue with her testimony.
very well. Young lady, I've got a simple question for you. What were you doing downstairs in the courthouse reading room?
If it pleases your honor, the answer is simply this. I had come to this courthouse to do research for a paper I was writing.
That's where she lied. Suspect he was interviewing her regarding another case. That's where she lied. Miss Hawthorne, you weren't here because of your research paper, were you? Didn't you actually come here for a much more important reason?
What is the meaning of that cocky smile on your face, Miss Fey?
8 months ago, right here in this very courthouse, there was another tragedy.
Another tragedy?
Do you mean the incident in which an attorney was poisoned?
The name of the suspect in that incident is listed here in this report, and that name is Dahlia Hawthorne.
What?
Dahlia Hawthorne?
Yes, the sweetie pie of everyone's eye, Miss Dahlia Hawthorne. She was the prime suspect in a criminal case just 8 months ago.
Order, order! This is unbelievable! It's true then, the loveliest rose can hide the coolest thorn.
Miss Fey, that's not fair! You can't slander my witness with an unrelated case. I, Winston Payne, will not allow it.
Mr. Prosecutor, I believe I was speaking.
Pardon me. Go right ahead.
It's true that about 8 months ago, the police expressed some interest in me.
Express some interest.
Mr. Judge, sir, I know I'm under oath, so I'll tell you the absolute truth. I did not commit the crime that occurred during that incident 8 months ago.
I see.
Okay, I've tied the two crimes together. Now I've just got to stay on the offensive.
Well done, Mia. Oh, you've really lit a fire in my heart and my buttocks. I can hardly tell which is more inflamed, my spirit or my hemorrhoids.
Boss! Too much information!
I met the lawyer who was poisoned to discuss something in the cafeteria that day. I left my seat for just a moment, and that's when it happened. From what I heard, it was a liquid poison that is lethal at just 2 teaspoons. Not only that, I heard it was a very special kind of poison. So you see, I'm innocent. I wouldn't even know where to get a poison like that.
So that's what happened here 8 months ago.
However, as you've heard from the witness's testimony, she had nothing to do with it. I think the defense is just out of tricks.
I'm terribly sorry, Mr. Payne, but I'm afraid the defense has many more tricks up its sleeve today, and I'll be sure to show them to you before the end of this cross-examination.
Huh? Why does the defense feel stronger?
Mia, you're growing with a true lawyer's aura, my dear. That proud posture and self-confidence absolutely smashing.
What were you talking about with the defense attorney?
Well, I'm sorry, but that's confidential.
According to the report, you were being interviewed regarding another case?
The lawyer that was killed. He said he wanted to talk about an incident I was caught up in when I was younger.
Why don't you tell us all what that incident was?
That has absolutely nothing at all to do with this case.
Objection sustained. The defense's question is stricken from the record.
You get involved in a lot of incidents, don't you, Miss Hawthorne?
Well, I guess I was just born under a bad sign.
Don't worry, Dolly. I'll protect you. You heard the man. Now that is true love, young lady.
Oh, Phoebe, please.
Ugh, those two really are making me ill, albeit for decidedly different reasons.
I left my seat for just a moment.
How long were you gone?
I've already answered all these questions for the police. But if you must know, maybe 10 or 20 minutes.
And where were you during that stretch of time? Using the toilets?
What are you saying, Miss Fay? Toilet? My perfect little Dolly doesn't poop? Oh. Okay, Phoenix, you need to chill the heck out. Everyone poops. You heard the defendant, Miss Fay. Better luck next time.
Oh, Phoebe, please.
The police have already looked into this matter. This line of questioning is nothing but a waste of the court's time.
Objection sustained. Miss Hawthorne, please continue with your testimony.
From what I heard, it was a liquid poison that is lethal at just 2 teaspoons.
About how much liquid is 2 teaspoons?
Well, let me see. My bottle of eye drops says it's a half fluid ounce, which is equal to 3 teaspoons.
The poison was found in the lawyer's mug of coffee. It must have been after I left the table. Someone must have quietly slipped it in there. Not only that, I heard it was a very special kind of poison.
A special kind of poison?
Well, I heard it's almost impossible to detect.
Where would something like that come from?
I'm sorry. All I know is what I overheard policemen saying. They said something about using advanced chemical processes to purify it.
Chemical processes? That's quite impressive.
The better question is, how did the criminal get something like that? So what about your boyfriend?
Objection!
You wouldn't know how to get that kind of poison. I don't believe you.
What?
In fact, you had easy access to that kind of poison, didn't you? At your boyfriend's lab.
Boyfriend? You mean the victim Doug Swallow?
That's right. Up until 8 months ago, Miss Hawthorne was dating Mr. Swallow. And if you recall, Mr. Swallow was a pharmacology student at Ivy University.
Pharmacology?
His laboratory contained highly advanced chemistry equipment. In fact, without such equipment, the culprit could never have obtained such a rare and special poison. Well, Miss Hawthorne, it seems you had access to such a poison after all. And then, it was a matter of slipping it into the victim's coffee when he wasn't looking. The only person who could have done that was the one sitting at his very table, you.
No!
Order! Order! Could it be?
That's nothing but a baseless accusation.
May I say something, Madam Fay?
What is it, Miss Hawthorne?
The amount of poison in the coffee was 2 teaspoons, correct? In order to carry that much liquid, you would need some kind of container.
Well, yes, that's true.
I was searched immediately after the incident took place.
Quite true. In fact, the entire courthouse was turned upside down.
But they didn't find a suspicious container anywhere, did they?
She's right. They even mentioned that in the report. You could have easily gotten rid of something that small.
Excuse me, madame, but this is a court of law. If you're saying I threw the poison container away, I think you need to show some kind of proof.
Proof! She got me with that.
Provide some evidence or I'll have to disallow this line of questioning, Miss Fay. Unless we can come up with some evidence, we're going to lose this lead.
Police conducted a full-body search of Dahlia and of the entire courthouse, and yet the container holding the poison disappeared right after the crime occurred.
If you're going to accuse the young lady of committing murder, then where is the container the poison was carried in?
And there we go.
You were forced to get rid of the container in a hurry, weren't you? And that's why you passed it on to someone who had nothing to do with the case. Someone you knew wouldn't be searched.
Who is this person?
Mr. Phoenix Wright, of course.
So the defendant was this witness's accomplice?
Of course not. She gave the poison to him, disguised as a present.
What? But that's...
That's a charming little necklace. Is this a little bottle? It's really quite cute. So what about it? What does this mean, Miss Fay?
The day the witness met and fell for Mr. Phoenix Wright was 8 months ago, August 27th, the same day as the poisoning incident. Under the pretense of love, this witness gave my client a present. All for the purpose of hiding the one piece of evidence that would give her away.
What? Are you saying there's a deadly poison in here?
No, there's no longer any poison in that bottle. However, I'm certain if the crime lab were to analyze it, they would find trace amounts.
No! Poor Phoenix.
Order in the court. On behalf of Dolly, I object. He's actually giving her more representation than most witnesses usually get.
Mr. Wright, control yourself.
I won't let you bully her like this. Mr. Wright, I thought I told you to stay in your seat.
Mr. Wright, why? Why are you going through so much trouble to protect her?
Why? Because I'm in love with her. Madly in love. I haven't heard anyone say that in a long time.
Mr. Wright, have you ever thought about this? Why exactly would a woman like Dahlia Hawthorne want to date you anyway?
Ouch! Well, I guess she must be madly in love with me too.
Mr. Wright, please open your eyes. At this point in the trial, I think it should be obvious to everyone. The real reason Dahlia Hawthorne is dating you is... Dahlia Hawthorne was not and is not madly in love with you. The only thing she's after is the bottle necklace you love to wear around your neck.
My necklace?
Back there in the waiting room, you said it yourself.
Yeah, but she's so shy. Every time I see her, she always says the same thing to me. Please give it back now. What a strange girl, asking for a present back like that.
For Dahlia Hawthorne, that necklace is irrefutable evidence of a crime. That's why she absolutely had to get it back.
You're lying.
But you never gave it back to her. And to make things worse for her, you insisted on showing it to everyone you met. That's why she...
I don't believe you. No, that's a lie. Baby. Mia, are you alright? The defendant, he's getting away! Bailiff, hurry after him! Mia, are you alright?
Yes, I think so.
That boy, he went completely insane.
Where's Mr. Wright?
It looks like the bailiff caught him, so he should be back soon enough.
Thank goodness.
Oh no! What is it?
The bottle necklace! Miss Hawthorne's present! It's gone!
What? That's terrible.
Mr. Wright must have grabbed it when he slammed into me.
Foolish boy. That's the only thing that could have saved him.
What in the blazes are we supposed to do now?
So he grabbed the necklace and accidentally knocked her over?
Mr. Wright, this sort of behavior is unprecedented in the history of this court.
I'm sorry.
I'm afraid your apology is not enough.
Mr. Wright, what did you do with the bottle necklace?
Forgive me. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Just give back the necklace. I ate it.
Phoenix! What? No! No! Why?
You what?
You ate it.
It was too big to swallow, so I had to chew it into little bits first, but yeah. Oh good, you've got glass with trace poison rattling around in your stomach.
Oh my god. What are we gonna do with this boy? What do you do with this boy?
What the?
What?
What is he doing now?
Your Honor, you've got to stop the trial! Mr. Wright, are you feeling okay? Does your stomach hurt? That bottle you swallowed may have had poison left in it!
It seems the defendant has proven the prosecution's case for us. Clearly that bottle did not contain poison.
How can you be so sure?
I think that's obvious. As you can see, the defendant is still very much alive. As for the poison, more like a fledgling defense attorney's overactive imagination.
So it would seem...
No! There must be some mistake. The bottle must not have had any poison left in it. Either that or the poison must have lost its potency.
There, it's all right, rookie. Trusting your client is the most noble thing a defense attorney can do. And it's heartwarming to see you place this much faith in Mr. Wright. But that's how it is for us on the prosecution side, too. For example, I trust the witness, Miss Hawthorne, with my very life. Which is why I can state your assessment of her is completely wrong.
That's enough. Unfortunately, Miss Fay, I cannot accept your explanation of events.
Why?
This may be impossible for a beginner like you to understand, but in a court of law, evidence is everything.
Even after I prove so much, is she going to get away with everything?
Well, now that the suspicion surrounding Miss Hawthorne has been cleared up, I would like to proceed with the trial.
Mr. Wright? I'm sorry, Miss Fay. It totally slipped my mind. I'm really, really sorry.
I know you believed in me, and I feel like I really let you down.
Mr. Wright, what are you trying to say?
There's something I forgot to tell you. What is it?
That day, the day I met Doug Swallow. That girl, you shouldn't see her anymore. Hey, it's none of your business. I'm telling you for your sake. If you continue to see her, it's going to be bad news. You're lying. Just listen to me. There's something you need to know about that girl. Last night, someone stole poison from our lab.
Poison?
The same thing happened 8 months ago. A drug sample was stolen. She came to the lab that time too. It could only have been her. That girl is a thief. Stop it! Don't talk about her like that.
Is it true? Did he really say that?
That's ridiculous.
There's one more thing. After I pushed him that day, I got worried and came back to have a look. And she was there. Dolly was right there. She was crouched down next to him.
What?
She told me not to ever tell anyone about it, but I'm sorry, Dolly.
Your Honor, the defendant is...
Miss Faye, you tell them. Dolly didn't do it. She's innocent.
So Dahlia stole poison 8 months ago too, huh? If you put that together with Mr. Wright's testimony, then there's only one possible conclusion. The defense believes that Miss Dahlia Hawthorne stole poison on the night before she killed Doug Swallow.
The night before?
Naturally, her motive for stealing it was to kill someone.
Miss Faye? If you're so certain of your theory, let me ask you this.
Mia, this is your last chance. Think carefully now. There's something she desperately wanted to get back. Therefore...
Exactly who was Miss Dahlia Hawthorne planning to kill?
There was one person that was standing squarely in Miss Dahlia Hawthorne's way, and that person was... Mr. Phoenix Wright.
Me?
That's preposterous. It was Doug Swallow that was murdered.
It's true that that's how things worked out. But let's remember that Mr. Swallow died of electrocution, not poison. The person Miss Hawthorne was planning to poison was, in fact, you, Phoenix Wright. There's no one else it could be.
How can that be? I thought Mr. Wright and Miss Hawthorne were in love.
No. Poor Mr. Wright. This must be killing him. Hang in there. I'll bring her to justice. I swear it. As I said before, the only thing Miss Hawthorne truly cared about was the one piece of evidence linking her to that incident 8 months ago. That's right. The bottle necklace. That's all she cared about.
But even so, why? Why would she go so far as to murder him?
8 months ago, just after the fall of that attorney in the basement cafeteria, Dahlia Hawthorne could think of only one thing: how to get rid of the bottle necklace as quickly as possible.
No, it can't be.
It was a pretty good move she made too. The evidence was missing for a long time, but there was just one big problem. Although she got him to hide the evidence, Mr. Wright refused to return it to her. To him, the tiny little bottle was a cherished treasure. He even showed it to everyone he met.
You mean that's why she tried to kill Mr. Wright?
Correct, Your Honor. It was to retrieve that piece of evidence.
That can't be true.
Feeny, what a joke you are. Honestly, how can any woman ever count on you for anything? I even told you time and time again to keep your trap shut about me and that necklace. You disgust me.
Miss Hawthorne!
It appears we're nearing the end of this trial. Fine. I can tell you plan on making me into a criminal, no matter what I say.
You are a criminal, Miss Hawthorne.
We'll see about that. But first, where's your evidence? It seems your sniveling little crybaby of a client has eaten the bottle as a snack.
Well,
hey, old man, are you senile or something? Why don't you say something instead of sitting there with that dumb look on your face?
Miss Hawthorne, what's happened to you?
Are you really that shocked? Or do you prefer me this way, Mr. Judge? With absolutely no proof, you treat a voluntary witness like she's a mass murderer. Well, I have nothing more to say. I'll be heading home now, if you don't mind.
We're not finished.
Fine. Then ask this nasty old hag to finish up already.
I can't let her get away this time.
Stop, Mia. If you keep on pushing without evidence, you could pay the ultimate price as a lawyer.
The ultimate price?
You'd be forced to take off your attorney's badge forever, I'm afraid.
No.
You'd better think it over carefully, Miss Fay. Or should I say, Miss Gray?
Well, Miss Fay, can you provide evidence that would establish her guilt once and for all?
If I mess up here, my career as a lawyer is over. But to be honest, at this point, I don't have any evidence that's well-founded. Even so, I'd rather lose my attorney's badge than let her get away with murder. Your Honor, the defense would like to present proof.
Impossible! You can't possibly.
Stupid woman.
It is the opinion of this court that there has already been enough discussion. Therefore, I will allow only one piece of evidence to be presented.
Just one?
If you are unable to establish her guilt, I'm afraid a very harsh verdict will be handed down on Mr. Wright. Like, literally no one thinks he's guilty, but we can't prove that it's her, so...
I understand, Your Honor.
I can just imagine the headlines for tomorrow's newspaper. Up-and-coming lawyer plummets to earth before she gets the chance to soar.
She was planning to poison Mr. Wright. If that's the case, the poison was probably in there.
Well then, Ms. Vey, please present your evidence. Show this court irrefutable proof that Ms. Hawthorne was planning to poison Mr. Wright.
And where? In there? Okay, he said he'd been taking the cold killer. He lost it at lunch with Dahlia. And it was important enough to Doug that he was holding it. This is the only ingestible thing in our inventory, so yeah, okay. Here it is, Your Honor. The evidence that will prove her guilt once and for all.
Cold Killer X? Phoenix Wright's beloved cold medicine.
Does our rookie defense attorney have a bit of a cold?
If I did, I still wouldn't take this cold medicine. After all, it's been poisoned.
What?
Remember what the defendant said in his testimony.
I lost my bottle of it around lunchtime on the day of the accident. I always eat with Dolly, just the two of us.
She was the one who took his bottle of Cold Killer X. Then she poisoned it, knowing Mr. Wright was going to take some.
Now you're really grasping at straws. After all, it was the victim, Doug Swallow, that was holding the medicine.
I would like the court to recall the crime that happened here 8 months ago. Where did Miss Hawthorne hide the evidence?
What are you talking about?
8 months ago, the poison was hidden in her bottle necklace, which she then gave to someone else for safekeeping. Someone she accidentally ran into in the reading room. My client, Mr. Phoenix Wright. That's right. She did the same thing this time as well.
Oh, so it wasn't that Doug discovered the bottle. She tried to plant it on him.
After shoving the victim, Mr. Phoenix Wright left the scene of the crime.
That is when the murderer, Dahlia Hawthorne, appeared. With her, she was carrying the poison bottle of Cold Killer X. This, of course, was so she could carry out her plan to murder Mr. Wright.
I believe she did testify she was going to meet with the defendant.
She heard and saw everything that happened at the scene of the crime, including what the defendant and victim were arguing about, and the cut electrical cable. That's when she realized I can't allow Doug Swallow to live. She used the severed electrical cable to silence him forever. Unfortunately for her, this is when the problem occurred. Mr. Wright, who she thought had left the scene, came back to check on the victim. And on top of that, because of the power outage, some students showed up as well. It's hardly any wonder that she was, as she put it, in a state of panic. Recall that she was carrying a bottle of poison cold medicine. She must have thought, what if they searched me like they did 8 months ago?
8 months ago?
Yes, she disposed of the evidence exactly the same way as she did back then. She had someone else hold it. In this case, Doug Swallow.
Yeah, no, I believe that. She's already been searched, so I was thinking she'd be searched again.
Oh, come on now, everyone. Surely you aren't fooled, are you? This stupid woman. She's nothing but a filthy, stinking liar. Right, Mr. Prosecutor?
Yes, that's exactly right. It's just pure desperation.
I wonder which one of us is the desperate one. Miss Hawthorne, this cold medicine, I wonder if you wouldn't mind taking some. Well, Mr. Wright ate that necklace of yours, right? Now it's your turn to prove your innocence. What do you say? If I'm just a filthy, stinky liar, there's no need to worry. So come on, show us. I dare you to take some of this medicine right now. Mia Fey. Mia Fey.
Oh my god, the butterfly's burned.
Do you think you've won? Do you, Mia Fey?
She's like a terrible avenging spirit.
Come here, baby, come here. It's okay. Come here. It's okay, come here. Oh, he's crying. You don't like Mommy's angry voice? That's okay. That's okay, Chippy. Yeah, that's okay. I'll hold you. We won't do the angry voice. That's just fine. For the time being, victory is yours.
For the time being?
Well, I have a very long memory, you know. You and I will meet again. I'm certain of it. Well then, Mr. Judge. I'll see you later too, okay?
Oh, wait, yes. You probably won't meet me again because I will be dying in a few cases.
I'm going to go spend a little quality time with the men in blue now. I wish you all the best.
Phew. It's finally over.
I refuse to accept this. The defense hasn't shown a scrap of evidence to support this outrageous claim.
Come here. Come here.
But even so, your witness seems to accept it.
I don't care. I'm Winston Payne, and I don't believe one word this rookie lawyer has said.
Well then, Mr. Payne, let me ask you this.
Yes?
Would you care to try this cold medicine?
What?
Just a little earlier, I could have sworn you said...
There. It's all right, rookie. I would trust this witness, Ms. Hawthorne, with my very life.
If she's so trustworthy, then I'm sure there couldn't possibly be any poison in here, right?
Well...
And here comes the backpedal. Come on now, rookie killer. Show this rookie how it's done. How much trust do you really have for this woman? Are you willing to bet your life?
My head! hair! It's flying off! My beautiful hair!
What? This was the origin story of how he lost his hair, really?
Oh, Mr. Payne. No, I lost my hair the same way. We all have. Whomst among us hasn't? About Miss Dahlia Hawthorne.
Yes, Your Honor. I'll file papers for her immediate arrest.
Tragic, but not surprising. I knew there was something suspicious about her from the very beginning.
Just admit you were wrong.
By the way, Miss Faye,
Yes, Your Honor.
was it just me, or did you and Miss Dahlia Hawthorne seem to know each other?
Your Honor, whether we did or not has no bearing on this case.
Very well. Mr. Payne.
This can't be happening. It's a nightmare. It's like losing to my daughter.
It appears Mr. Payne has lost his spirit, along with his hair. Does the defendant have anything further to say?
It can't be true. My dear Dolly.
Very well then. I believe I am ready to pass judgment and bring this trial to an end. The court finds the defendant, Phoenix Wright, not guilty.
It's amazing that none of us ever seem to remember this later.
This court is adjourned. Mia, you were wonderful in there.
Thank you for everything, Mr. Crossberg.
During the verdict, I thought my hemorrhoids were going to explode like Mount Vesuvius.
Mr. Crossberg, do you maybe think you could stop talking about them?
That's rather rude. Anyway, this case has really made me think. What does it mean to have a relationship of mutual trust with a client? Perhaps it is we veteran lawyers who have lost sight of this.
Oh, Mr. Wright, congratulations!
Thanks. I was thinking.
Go on.
The dolly that I saw there up on the witness stand, I don't think that was really her.
What?
The dolly I know could never have said those kinds of terrible things. Maybe she was, I don't know, a fake or something.
Boy, this poor kid still hasn't got a clue. You need to forget about her, Mr. Wright, for your own sake.
Yeah, you're right. That's probably for the best.
Also, you need to relax a bit more. Try to grow up a little.
But out of all my friends, everyone says I'm the most grown up.
Oh dear. What kind of company does this guy keep?
Right now, I'm studying to become a lawyer myself.
That's what you keep saying. But I thought you were in the art department.
Well, I am, yeah. But there's a friend that I desperately want to help. And if I hurry, I should still be able to save him in time. Oh, baby.
I see.
Say, Miss Faye? A lawyer is someone who can help people when they're in trouble, right?
Mr. Wright, I'm still new at this myself, but I think that's exactly what a lawyer is.
Okay, I'm going to do it. I'll study my butt off and become a lawyer for sure. I hope we see each other again someday. Maybe even in court.
It's been 5 years since I was acquitted of all charges. I became a lawyer like I planned, and I managed to save my friend. But Mia has passed on to a better place. For me, this trial brings up a lot of painful memories. But it also brings up very precious ones. And memories I thought would never rise to the surface again. Mia is gone now, but even so, I hear her in my mind. Phoenix, no matter what, always believe in your client. In a court of law, your greatest weapon is your belief. 5 long years. Something has happened to make me think back to her words of wisdom, but that is a story for another day. Okay, so I guess we'll be seeing Dahlia again. Interesting. And oh, I've seen him. He was in the Boot to the Head. He was the, cover up your head, everybody. So that's gonna be exciting. Oh no, wait, I don't mean to start it. Okay. Okay, so that was another episode of Phoenix Wright. When we